honored to be on the stage to be sharing important update with you. So good thing, I mean, the first three speakers ahead of me gave a prelude already on what I will be talking this morning. Digital crossroads of AI and cybersecurity, no? Today's discussion on the last part will be the digital crossroads of AI and cyber. Again, I'm Alex Bernardino. So just scan my QR code, but I don't want to focus on, just Google me. You'll see my work. Okay. Now, the opening frame. I don't want to, I will drop the formal so that it will be different. Let's just have a conversation. Is that okay with you? Brainstorming. So what I want to do today is to give you a story, not really a formal presentation, but a storyline regarding, I want to paint a picture with you on what are we facing today, starting today and moving forward. And, what can we do about it? Good thing the last presenter discussed about virtual patching, etc. Peter discussed some, strategies, etc. But a real challenge today is this one. Starting today, moving forward, every day will be a zero day. Later on, I will discuss the context of that. Everyone is talking about digital transformation, cybersecurity, right? AI, AI in the mainstream right now. Everyone is talking about AI, right? But the problem to that is that it is not really the issue anymore. It's no longer cybersecurity. The issue is more on cyber resilience, right? It's not digital transformation, it's digital resilience. So you see, it's converting now to resiliency, right? And with the AI powered exploit, this will be our next 3 to 6 months. And mind you, guys, this conversation now that we are having in the next CXO forum of ISOC, it will be very different. Mind you that. So it should be now converge the conversation between digital and cyber resilience. It's already tied up. You cannot separate both conversation now on the table. Now, on the other side of it, it will be digital disruption. And the other side of it, it is cyber disruption. And the truth is, the fact of the matter is, right now, AI is industrializing generation of exploit. But before, we said resilience is a KPI, right? It should be the KPI. But now, it is not. It becomes a business survival metrics for all of us. Organization, maybe yung private sector, public sector, telco, banking, wherever you are, right? Next, this is our problem now. I will share to you an unprecedented event that happened last April. You could only hear it. I know you heard it. But I want to zoom in so that we know the implication of this unprecedented event. You heard it in the news, right? When Fable was released by Anthropic last time, then the next day, the US government banned it, right? So the story behind I will share today because I got access. I mean, I'm collaborating with different experts across the region from the US, Australia, Pacific region, cyber and AI expert. I was able to get that report of Anthropic, but I will not share the whole report, but I summarize it. But what's worry about this, Peter Malloy a while ago discussed about the new frontier model. So a new frontier model was born beyond Claude Opus, right? So now the problem is it is now generating working exploit at scale. Initially, the intention is to find and exploit zero-day vulnerability. This is internal testing, right? And it is restricted only to certain partners, only 12. And I want you to notice, defensive security should be the main goal. But the implication, this is where we're going. We're discussing the implication. Defenders, us, must assume comparable capability could be at hand of our adversary as well, right? So that's the other side of the sword, right? So for those who are in the cybersecurity space way long back, right? This TTP is quite, the old school where you wanna hack, right? The memory leak, then you do the compiler pro, heaps, praise, rest condition. This has never been done today already because there are advanced, sophisticated TTPs. But now, that the same model, that Mythos 1, use that chain primitive. So, meaning, it is using an old known tactic and procedure to be able to exploit that vulnerability. That's implication number one. And the problem is, you don't need to do the technical stuff. It is generated autonomously. Next, this is the capability gap. Based on the browsing testing result comparing Opus 4.6, the internal name of the fable now is Capybara, 3 months back, on identical condition, right? Opus on February 2026 only discovered generated 2. But imagine this. 2 months after, the new frontier model, Capybara, which is the fable now, generated 181, close to 200 exploit, meaning a 90x increase on the discovered vulnerability. 2 months, 90 times? I agree. One of the speakers said, capability is not stalling. It's accelerating. And imagine 3 months from now, how much of the new zero-day vulnerabilities will be discovered. The last presenter showed the same slide, but I want to highlight the history of the CVEs. 1999, only 300 CVEs were published. But last year, 2025, it became 48K per year in terms of CVEs, right? But the end of 2026, because of this unprecedented happening, it will be projected to be more than 100K. So imagine the steep rise and exponential rise of CVE. But that's not the problem. Here's the problem. The mean time to exploit has collapsed. This is all our problem now. I used to lead the whole cyber operation of PLDT, the technical ones. I have a dedicated risk management team doing this. 50 people on that group, only watching vulnerabilities and patching it. Now, this is really the implication. Patching is cooked. Patching is obsolete. Hard truth, but it is the truth. I will not sugarcoat it to the vendors who are doing, but again, virtual patching is good. Vendors are adjusting as well. They are doing their thing to tweak their technology and their processes to be able to adapt to this one. This is the problem right now. Attackers, when the threat was discovered, before it is even published, look at this. I mean, the presenter a while ago discussed it. It will be published after 2 months or so. But the exploit is already here on this target window. So not even before the CVE is published, it's already exploited. That's why the proactive method was discussed by our last presenter a while ago. So, patching is obsolete. We're saying that right now. The defense must move inside this attack window. Okay? You should contemplate that. And this is the hard reality and truth of this. I think Peter Molloy have some preview on his presentation. All softwares are impacted. All softwares, name it. PC, printer, IoT, medical, OT. To the application, business app, SaaS, to the infrastructure, network, data center, and cloud. Up to the workloads, even APIs, container. Everything is impacted. So the whole of the ecosystem of any enterprise is impacted. Every endpoint, application, even workload are now candidate for zero-day service. So can you now picture the impact to all of us of this? But I mean, we're not looking at it, right? I mean, they just said, no, Mythos release one new. This AI frontier model is definitely disrupting the whole industry. Next, so this is the closing statement. Okay. We need, of course, I will not give you a data without giving you a solution. So this is what we're seeing. The digital and cyber resilience conversation must be converging already. Okay? How do you do that? So you need to converge, embed, and partner accordingly. Plan, build, and operate accordingly. That is why when Chito invited me, this CXO forum is a great platform for all of us to collaborate. Nobody is, silo. Cybersecurity should not be siloed. I still believe should be an ecosystem partnership. End user, us sharing best practices, our technology vendors who have the expertise, right? We need the ecosystem to work together, okay? So this is the one. So I think the last presenter has highlighted this, right? From the legacy model of patch, detect, and respond, you have to move to the proactive model of embedded active defense. Again, I have no time to discuss that. But if you want, I will still be here. Converging digital and cyber, it should be on one operating model. Again, digital continuity, cyber defense. Separate domain, but one conversation. The capabilities are up. Prevent, detect, respond, and recover. Inside the box are the ones you should be doing. Having said that, I also prepared some, road mapping for you guys when you come back to your organization. At least on the next 90 days, you need to do something about it, guys. Don't sit on this. This is really important. When I presented this to the Pacific region, when they heard this, I spoke the keynote on the first day. The next day, the cyber session was all over the news. Fiji Times, Fiji Sun. Then the second day, all the reporters are interviewing me, and some of the CEOs I already talked as well. They are very afraid of what's the implication of this on the Pacific region. Huh? Now, PLDT as well, so sharing of best practices. So the role that was introduced to me now is different. So I move also to a new role on the CXO advisory role. My my mandate is to stitch already cybersecurity practice to the fixed and wireless business of PLDT and eventually move to AI. So this is anchoring our telco to techco transformation. Having said that, the old way of doing digital transformation, you could see that. Now in PLDT, knowing this, updates on the new AI frontier, what is happening on the AI market disrupting cybersecurity, we only choose and pick what's really critical and important. So we're saying we are promoting preemptive cyber defense. This is neutralized before compromise. We could give a heads up to our customer 90 days in advance, even when data resiliency and data risk assessment. And finally, operationalization is critical here. That's why we're no longer calling it an SOC or an NOC. We call it now a resilient operation center, where we can assure that enterprise will still be up and functioning, up and running, even though we are under duress or even under cyber attack. And finally, we have to take a look at everything on a holistic perspective. You cannot just siloed cybersecurity, cloud, AI, network. Take a look at it end-to-end, stitch everything, the domains, and implement what you need to do. And finally, for this session only, we're offering, for those who attend this session, PLDT will be offering high-impact zero-cost assessments with you guys, in coordination, of course, with ISOG. So for those who are interested, just reach out to me. You can take a picture. I'm done. Thank you very much for listening to the updates.
So there were a lot of points in here that we could really, really touch on. And I think one of the points that I came away or will be going away with is this time to exploit. One of the themes that everybody has spoken about today is the rapid nature of our work. In the old days, we had time to go out. We identified something. We could go out, take a coffee break with our team, talk about it over coffee and have a few sandwiches and so on. And now we don't have that. And one of the things that I like that you said, which really shows this, is the time to exploit isn't just reduced, it's collapsed.
It collapsed.
And I was thinking about the recent earthquakes. We had a building collapse in, I think it was Angeles. We had the earthquake down south, earthquake in Caracas. And you see these videos of buildings just dropping
down.
And that's kind of what's happened to our reaction time, our time to exploit the work that we have to do.
Right.
And it's got a couple of questions here for you. So as AI adoption accelerates across our business, the enterprise, how can leaders ensure innovation moves forward without compromising security, governance, and trust?
That's a very, very insightful question because right now we are correlating cybersecurity and AI to our business imperatives, right? So at the end of the day, what's important is that we strike the balance between, adapting to new technology. Maybe now AI we're using for more on collab. AI is based on use case. All of us has a different use case of AI. Because I'm a cyber guy, I use it on a cybersecurity perspective, defense mechanism. But other companies are using that maybe for work efficiency, maybe collaboration. But have in mind, don't lose sight that our attackers and adversary are using AI. And what Peter Molloy said a while ago, as we have boundaries to use AIs, we have rules and regulations, ethical use of AI, but our adversary do not have rules, right? And I forgot to share because I was a little bit jet lag. There's a data that I love, a chart showing that ransomware pre-pandemic, right? The data, it is built around how many days? 2024, 2 years ago, it's down to maybe more than 24 hours. But 2026, I'm speaking here for 30 minutes already. 2 ransomware was built by our colleague here from ISOC and weaponized it. The next one is exploit vulnerability. Before it's weeks, now it's down to less than an hour. And compromise and exfiltrate down from 15 days or 2 weeks down to less than 20 minutes. Why I'm sharing this one? This is how AI is turbocharging the scale and speed of cyber attack. So to the question of Stephen, really we need to strike the balance of it. But I have no bias on cybersecurity, but make sure that your AI transformation strategy should be anchored to a good cybersecurity practice and governance. I think that's the way. Embed cybersecurity day one. You are conceptualizing not only AI, any strategy across. Because cybersecurity cuts across all of this domain anyhow, right?
Excellent points. Now we got to figure out how we can go to actually implementation. And that's where I think you brought it up earlier. This session today, sitting here with 30, 40, 50 people, is a way of learning that. And I mentioned about getting to know the people in front of you, behind you, to your right, to your left earlier, and exchanging ideas with them. That's one of the things that the way this session is curated is incredible. So let me ask you another question, which ties into that actually. With AI reshaping the threat landscape, we've only got like 4 minutes. So what is the one capability or mindset that every organization should prioritize over the next 2 or 3 years to remain resilient?
I love that. So when I am, speaking to events like this, doing, cyber evangelization, there are 4 capabilities that I always highlight: the prevent and detect, and the predict and respond. The first one, I said I'll coin it a reactive cybersecurity approach because you're putting a firewall, you're putting an endpoint detection, because something will happen. That's why you're putting it. What I'm saying to the customer is move the needle to the next 2, which is the predictive and the responsive capability. Even before the cyber attack will hit you, you already predicted it. It's number 1. And the more important question is, when the time comes, when the D-Day comes to your organization, D-Day, that you will be breached. Again, let's accept the fact. I want to put it on straight. All of us will be breached somewhere, sometime. So it's no longer a question if your organization, you're breached, or how. It's a matter of when. Let's accept that fact, okay? How could you respond and recover when the time hits? And now with AI, I'm adding another one. We should be on the mindset of all organizations, being adaptive. Adaptive cybersecurity strategy. Because you don't know, after 3 months, our conversation will be different again. Maybe we're not talking about vulnerability, but something else. That's why we want to maximize this platform. For me, more than a profession, more than an employee of PLDT, cybersecurity is my passion and advocacy. And we are, in the industry, we're only small. Our adversaries are talking to each other. We should too. We should talk as an organization, share our best practices. So don't crucify those organizations or the CISOs who have been breached. Rather, let's learn from their experience. And maybe we could share our experiences as well, where we fail, where we succeed, right? So that's how we build the ecosystem. Stephen.
I think you've got a great point. Actually, I don't think we have enough time to explore the question that I wanted to ask. So we'll just go ahead and kind of wrap it up. But one of the things that I think you're bringing out is this idea of our adversaries, and I like that better than the bad guys that I often used in the past. But our adversaries, whether they are actually getting into a meeting and talking, or they're just watching what's going on and then they're saying, hey, look at that. How did they do that? I think that's something that our boards, our senior management, and we ourselves need to get much more comfortable in having real heart-to-heart conversations about what's going on. Because we see, we can sit there and say, oh, my God, PLDT is really screwed up. Look, I can't make phone calls, blah, blah, blah. And, oh, I bet they're under attack. How did that happen? What happened? And how does that affect me? And that's where we've got 45 seconds left. I'm going to take it all because I think what you've brought up is the idea of talking to each other in an open learning experience instead of, you're an idiot. You let that happen? What a fool you are. No, it's how did this happen? What did you do then? And how can I get better? And so Alexis, I really appreciate the opportunity to chat with you today.
Yes, me too.
I think this probably ought to be done over a extended cup of coffee or maybe even something else to do that. Which brings it back to everybody in this room right now. And that is the ability to talk to each other, the willingness to talk to each other and exchange information, whether we have an NDA or not.
Yes, but I just want one final mindset of paranoia, guys. Paranoia. Scrutinize everything. They said in this cyber landscape nowadays, only the paranoid survive. So, thank you for the opportunity to have a conversation today with you. I hope you learned a lot of insight from the 4 presenters. Yeah. And I hope to see you soon on the next events or series of CXO.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Alexis, thank you so much. Thank you.